At least it's a canal that goes into the Neva River here in St. Petersburg, Russia, not Florida. This is Russia. We went all the way to the original St. Petersburg. And it's called the Venice of the North. But Amsterdam also calls itself the Venice of the North. So I am selling nuclear weapons to each city. Keep filming. I'm selling nuclear weapons to... Keep filming. I'm selling nuclear missiles to each city. So that Amsterdam and Venice can fight it out. For whoever gets the title, the official title, Venice of the North. Oh, God. P.A.RODY here, still on the Neva River in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg has gone through several name changes. It started out as St. Petersburg, then it became Leningrad after John Lennon because they're big Beatles fans. They love the Beatles, so naturally they want to name their second biggest city after John Lennon, who wrote so many important songs, and he died, so naturally also they're going to pay tribute to him by naming this Leningrad. Paul McCartney was mad. He had a big ego. He wanted it named after himself, McCartneyville. Didn't work out though. They went for Leningrad instead. Stalin came along. Stalin came along. Stalin came along after the Beatles and changed it to Stalingrad. They're very greedy of him. Terrible dictator. And John Lennon will never forgive him. The Beatles are still trying to sue Stalin and his estate. Stalin died. They went back to Leningrad.
I just scanned in on Jim for a minute.
The Ringo Starr tried to get it named after him too. Tried to name it Ringo Starrberg. Didn't quite happen. Because he was just the drummer after all. Not nearly as great and wonderful as John Lennon. Then, of course, they decided to bring it back to St. Petersburg. Thank God for Peter Falk, because he was getting upset.
For who?
For Peter Falk.
Okay.
Columbo, TV's Columbo.
Yes.
And though they
Should
might,
I get that yacht?
they're thinking, oh, just keep it on me. I got a big ego.
Okay.
Now, they might want it to, one day they might change it to Barry Manilow Land. I think Barry Manilow Land would be a great name. Baryshnikov they like, so Baryshnikovville might happen at some point. I mean, there's a Russian right there. So now here we are inside one of the palaces. This is the Summer Palace outside of St. Petersburg, about a half-hour drive. They were very decadent in the days before the Communist Revolution, so you can see that these palaces are just filled with jewels and gold, but I've made a deal with Vladimir Putin. I'm going to give him various biological weapons and a couple of sexy belly dancers, and he's going to give me all the gold in this palace for my own pleasure. I'll use it to make some naked gold statues of ladies, like Scarlett Johansson. I've always wanted a gold statue of Scarlett Johansson. Well, now I can have it, thanks to my deal with Putin. That's my summer palace back there, all mine. Pretty glorious, isn't it? Right here, outside of St. Petersburg. Beautiful.
Hello, hello.
From St. Petersburg.
From Russia?
From
Hello.
Russia. Oh yeah, I like that. And now what you're looking at here in this big plaza is a World War II memorial. St. Petersburg is a relatively recent city compared to the other Russian cities. For instance, Moscow is over 900 years old. Novgorod is well over 1,200 years old. But St. Petersburg is only 300 years old, so it's a pretty new city comparatively. Peter the Great set this city up in a great big swamp, and he wanted it to look like other European capital cities, and that's why St. Petersburg has more of a Western European look than certain other Russian cities. Now, something very sad that has happened. During the Russian Revolution in 1917, St. Petersburg lost 2/3 of its population, and again in World War II during the siege of St. Petersburg, they lost 2/3 of their population.
But now the city's happy. They got the population back up around 3 or 4 million people. And now we're in front of this beautiful cathedral, Our Lady of the Sasquatch Cathedral.
Alright, this church, just looking at it, makes me happy. It brings me a sense of satisfaction. The beauty, the architecture, the art, the love behind it. But of course, the Rody Mart will bring me profit, so that's why the new convenience store, Rody Mart, needs to open up right here in St. Petersburg. Great historical spot. Bring in the shoppers. Here in St. Petersburg, Russia. Yes.
Indeed, this cathedral is very inspiring when you're standing right next to it on a gorgeous summer day like this. And it's in perfect shape. They got it all spruced up for my visit. Oh, there's a hot bikini girl with her lesbian lover. But the Russian police came along and prevented us from doing any more taping, because apparently that's one of Vladimir Putin's mistresses. So I'll let him keep his hands on his own hot chicks. I got plenty of girls in my harem traveling with me. I've always got access to plenty of flesh. So, well, I don't want to get into that. You don't want to hear about my sex life, for God's sake. This is a travel show. So let's get back to talking about Russia. As you know, it used to be the Soviet Union until it all fell to pieces. Around 1989, 1990, 1991, it all went to hell. And that's when the multinational corporations came along and decided to take full advantage of the misery of the Russian people.
Oh, I did.